G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name's Isaac Butterfield and this video is without a doubt the most horrific subject matter that I've ever covered on this channel. Fair warning, this is not for the squeamish, this is not for the easily upset. Go and watch a different video. This is not this one. I have a story here today that is going to make you very, hopefully, very angry. And it should. There's a lot of anger being thrown around the internet right now, and perhaps it's not necessary. It doesn't really achieve what you think it does. But this person in this video deserves all of that anger, the hatred. This person, this human, subhuman really, what they did is so horrific. And I'm not going to beat around the bush in this video. I'm going to tell you exactly what this person did. What they did was so bad, and the way that they were rewarded for it, that's going to make you physically sick. This evil Aussie dad molested his own 5-year-old daughter for the pleasure of an American pedophile that he met online, but it's where he is doing jail time that is causing outrage. This is the story, as I said, of an evil, horrible person who's being rewarded for what they did. I don't even know if I can say the P word here, but a pedophile father convicted of abusing his 5-year-old daughter is being held in a female prison. Did you fucking hear that? The father is now being held in a female prison because he identifies as a woman. Now, without knowing anything else about this story, sorry, mate, you don't get to fucking identify as a woman and then get rewarded with in your own fucking world by getting sent to a female prison because you identify suddenly in a certain way after you have done something so horrific. Now, I've read ahead. I read this on a plane recently, this story, and I read about what you did. And the fact that you're not in a male prison with those threats around you fucking pisses me right off. Autumn Tulip Harper, fuck off. 25 years old, who was born a man and now identifies as a woman. And I, when I first read this, I was like, why the fuck are they using that ridiculous name? Autumn Tulip Harper. The reason they're doing that is to protect the identity of the young girl that was molested by her dad. So, okay, I'll entertain that. Sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison. 4 years. How long are these poor pricks getting jail time in the UK for tweets, for saying words, for sharing memes? And this motherfucker gets snared by cops in a global bust of a pedophile ring in July and gets 4 years and 9 months. This is Australia we're talking about here, but this happens all over the world. What type of message are we trying to send to the biggest scum of the earth, these sub-breed human beings that do this shit to kids? What message are we sending to them? Oh, you're going to get a slap on the wrist. You're going to be in jail for a little bit of time. Oh, you identify as a different gender. Here, let me send you to that gender-specific prison where you'll be safe. Australian police, who are acting on the tip of law enforcement in the States, raided Harper's home in Clayton South and Melbourne South East on September 15th, 2023, seizing his Samsung phone. His Samsung phone. Well done to the Daily Mail. They discovered the father had been subjecting his 5-year-old daughter to persistent sexual abuse between May and June of that year. He had sent 77 child abuse files over Discord to a pedo in the United States. The details of Harper's hearing are too offending and too harrowing to publish. I disagree. This shit, this pisses me off, right? I was thinking about this the other day. When we hear that someone has done something so bad and they say, oh, it's too offensive to publish. No, because that takes away from the shit that they did. So I'm going to go to Redux, which is a feminist news and opinion website, and they get a lot of heat because they are what is known as TERFs, trans radical something who gives a shit, who are daring to say things like this, that men shouldn't be in female spaces like female prisons or whatever. So Redux has come out and they've actually reported on this story like a journalist should. They also have withheld Harper's birth name to protect the identity of the young victim, his daughter in this case. Shortly after Harper pleaded guilty, an unknown individual vandalized his Facebook profile, changing the banner to read, "I'm a pedo," good, and providing updates on Harper's case. Pleaded guilty to creating and distributing child abuse material, will be sentenced very soon. Wow. According to the sentencing records, Harper had been in an online BDSM relationship with an American pedo who encouraged him to sexually abuse his daughter for his own sexual growth. Jesus Christ. Okay, so this is the bit that's horrible, but this is the bit that we need to hear, because when we say something so offensive that we can't publish it and then they get 4 years in jail, it doesn't really ring true how horrific it is. So if you want to skip this, go ahead. This will be the next 30 or 40 seconds of this video. Harper sent the other man images of his daughter, including her naked in the shower and him sexually posing with her. The court also details there were several videos of Harper kissing the child's labia, naked buttocks, and licking her anal region. In one of the videos, Harper is heard asking the girl if she likes it, to which the child says no. That's full on. But I think it's important to hear that. To have that uncomfortable moment where you realize that what this person has done is real. And it's not just words on a page. Like, this is affecting this young little girl forever. And he gets 4 years and 9 months. Police determined that Harper had directly sexually abused the girl on 19 separate occasions in the course of just 1 month. 19, and he gets 4 fucking years? The abuse media was then sent to the American pedo, who Harper referred to as his master. Jesus. The man would also then heap praise upon Harper, telling him how impressed and aroused he was by this, calling him a good girl. Fucking Jesus. Despite being arrested for the serious crime in September 23, Harper was then released on bail. What? And was allowed to remain free throughout the duration of the trial. Harper was also afforded anonymity in court proceedings. Why? During the trial, forensic psychologist Dr. Rajan Darji was called upon to interview Harper and created a profile for his offending. Disturbingly, Darji framed Harper as though he were a female who had been pressured by a male into committing these offences. What? Darji told the court that Harper would not need any specific interventions to prevent further sexual offending. Oh, really? Okay. And dismissed the need for a sex offender treatment. What? He also denied that Harper had a paraphilic disorder and argued that Harper has no sexual attraction to children. You can't trust someone ever again who does anything like this. Never again. Lock them up. There needs to be life in jail for these. Honestly. Both Harper's arrest and trial were completed in relative silence. There shouldn't be. No. With no police releases or domestic media indication that the incident had occurred. Redux was the first to cover Harper's case after a source close to the court came forward to provide information on Harper and his charges. Judge Nola Karapangadidis similarly highlighted Harper's gender dysphoria and experiences with transphobia as mitigating factors. No mitigating factors. Zero. Nobody does this shit. And if they do, they are broken. And they cannot be fixed. They should never be trusted again. Fuck them. And appeared, allegedly, to accept the defense's argument that he only committed the abuse to be validated as a woman and a sexual person. Now, Redux has learned that Harper has been housed in a women's facility in Victoria on the basis of his own self-declared gender identity. Sorry, fuckhead. You don't get to go to a women's prison because it makes you feel nice. No, you have done the most horrific thing possible to a tiny baby, and you don't get to get these nice little things. You get to get put in fucking Gen Pop, and whatever happens to you, happens to you. That's what happens. That's what should happen anyway. Harper's being held at the Dame Phyllis Frost Correctional Centre, which has previously attracted controversy for housing transgender sex offenders with female inmates. What the fuck is wrong with you, Victoria? Remember, this is Victoria, which is the most progressive state in Australia, and it is a nightmare right now. There are violent crimes all the time. It's just it's a shit show. In 2022, the women at the prison told the Herald Sun that a transgender male offender had moved into the protection unit in July. While the identity of the transferred inmate was not released, the details from the criminal's background mirror those of a trans-identified male who had been sentenced to 3 years and 3 months in prison for sexually assaulting a woman in 2021. 44 at the time, had stalked a woman as she was walking home in Richmond before grabbing her and attempting to rape her. Yeah, cool. Put that person in a prison full of women. That'd be an awesome idea. Why don't you lay down and have sex with me? This person asked. So obviously they're mentally ill. When questioned about the incident, apparently this person said, I didn't do anything. It was her fault. Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ. So apparently in Australia, each state has a different sort of policy when it comes to transgender inmates. But if this was somebody who had fucked around with their taxes or didn't pay a speeding fine or 10 speeding fines and had been a transgender person for 10 years and had fake boobs and all the surgeries and all this type of stuff and looked like a woman, like I would understand slightly the argument for housing them in a female prison. And I'll tell you why. Because it would be probably pretty dangerous to have them in a male prison because they look exactly like a woman and it's a non-violent crime. And if you could prove that they're a non-violent person, then okay, I'd have less of an issue. But when you take someone who's done the most horrific thing of all time and then put them in a locked building rather, full of women, full of the gender that this person attacked on 19 separate occasions. Put them in there for 4 years and 9 months or whatever it was, that tiny amount of time. In what world is that appropriate? In what world is that fair? In what world is that the right thing to do? It's not. It is not okay. This is not acceptable at all. This should piss you off because it fucking pisses me off. I'm a dad. I'm a member of a tight-knit community in the area that my wife and I live in, and we hate this shit. We fucking hate it, all right? We had a young girl that was followed by a car maybe a year ago now, and we just moved into the area, and the dad called me, and he said, mate, have you got security cameras? I was like, yeah. Can you go through them and try and find what car this was, get me a number plate? We did that. Other people in the neighborhood did it. We banded together because we do not accept these pieces of shit, and you should not accept these pieces of shit either. And I know you don't. Obviously, nobody does, right? Well, maybe some do. Maybe the justice system does just a little bit. We try and treat these people differently. Why, number one, does this person have anonymity? That's a fucking very interesting question. A footballer, a sports person, they get caught with a gram of cocaine and their face is everywhere. This person does the worst crime of all time and they've kept them remember this face. That's who we're talking about. Never forget this person's face. This person should never be trusted in a million years. Fuck this shit. All right, that's the end of the video. I don't know what else to say. But surely something has to come from this. We need massive change in this country. Huge change. The justice system needs changing. The government needs changing. People like this should be locked away for life. I don't even know what YouTube's policy is on advocating for certain punishments, but there's one punishment that should be kept for people like this. And then that punishment is very final. That's all I'll say. I don't know if I can actually say anything else tonight, but ladies and gentlemen, yeah, fuck.